okay, how do we set up our VPC? EC2, we learned that already, right? Now we're going to set up auto scaling so that we can scale up and scale down depends on the workload, right? Okay, now let's take a look at our VPC here. So if you look at your VPC, I'm at my own AWS account, okay? So then we have two subnets, right? So this is the VPC test JL, VPC auto scaling JL, okay? And we're going to provision another VPC test, right? Starting just from scratch here, okay? And then if you look at EC2, okay? So for EC2, look at the instance here, right? All of these, okay, there are two running here. Okay, so we go to our VPC dashboard here, okay? And then when we go to VPC dashboard, we have the launch VPC wizard, okay, launch VPC, okay? So let's click this, okay. Now we're going with VPC with public and private subnet. Then this is what we used before, so we select, right? Okay, now we have the IP with a seeder block, and then this time we want to include the IPv6, okay, seeder block. And then we use this as VPC test auto scaling by JL. Okay, so we're creating a new VPC. This is the test auto scaling JL. Okay, and then this is our public subnet, right, with a seeder block. This here, and then for the IPv6, right, don't assign or specify custom IPv6, right. So we just keep it as don't assign. Okay, and then leave this as it is. Give a name here. We can see my test, right. Auto scaling public subnet JL. Okay, so this is our public subnet name, right? So then for private, right, this is private. Then we have the private subnet name here. Okay, so this is our private. So let's change this one. Okay, so this is for private subnet, right? Okay, okay. Then we set up this. Now we need to specify the our elastic IP, right? So we do need to have our IP, and then we look at here, elastic IP, no result, please. Okay, so we don't have any, right? So we don't have any. That means we need to first have our elastic IP allocated, right? Okay, so if we go here, I go to VPC, and open another window here. So okay, we go back to our VPC, right? Then go down to elastic IP, right? Okay, so this is what we have here, right? Okay, now we're going to, let's see, this is actually for the other VPC, okay? And now keep in mind, this is also, if you're having this, then you are you'll also be charged, okay? So then make sure that if you don't need to use it, then you can delete it or deallocate it, okay? So then let's see here, network group, okay? So this is we're having this in US East, right? Okay, so we have this, right? Then that's good. Okay, so let's allocate. Okay, so then now we have this public IP with v4, right, address here. Okay, okay, so this is 3212, right, 168.4, and that's our public IP, the public IP. Okay, so let's see, this is what we have now. Okay, then we look at our IP, we have this. Okay, then we go back here, right? Go back to this. Now we look at this IP. Okay, so now this one is the one we just allocated, and this one we can assign to this allocated this one to the VPC. Okay. Okay, so then at endpoint. Okay, so for at endpoint, let's say we want to add DynamoDB. Okay, then we want to add S3. Okay. Okay, then create VPC. Okay, so your VPC has been successfully created, right? So it takes a little bit of time, okay? Just sometimes quicker, sometimes slower. And then now we can launch instance into the subnets, right? Okay, now we did the EC2 instance earlier, right, in the earlier examples. And then in this case, we're going to use our auto scaling, right? So then we will set up the launch template. That's what kind of EC2 instance we're going to launch, right? Okay, so then let's see OK here, okay? Okay, now we look at, we got our VPC test auto scaling GL, right? That is the one we created, and then that's one we're going to be will be used, right, for auto scaling. Okay, so once this is done, right, then we look at our security group. Okay, we have a different type of security group here. This one is the one used in the auto scaling, right? If you look at the inbound, we allow the SSH and the HTTP, right? For outbound, okay, we allow all the traffic, right? All the traffic. So then let's create okay, new security group, okay. Okay, maybe you just okay, so then this is our, we just create our security group, right? Okay, then we're going to select our VPC, and this one is our VPC test, right? This is one we just provision, right? And this one we're going to use for VPC, right? So we're going to click this. Okay, and then for the inbound rule, we can add all the inbound rule. This we have as you can set up as all traffic. Okay, let's see, we set up all traffic. Then you can do this same thing for outbound all traffic, okay? Or you can do just like what I showed you earlier. Depends on what kind of ports or what kind of protocols you're going to use. Then you can set up like a SSH or HTTP, etc. Okay, so let's see here. We set up all traffic. Okay, that's all traffic here. We see anywhere. Okay, for this one, and then we add rules all traffic. Okay, so then for outbound rule, right, we set up all traffic, right? Then this one. Okay, so now we allow all the traffic here. Okay, just now security group adds more one more layer of the security, right? So if you want to control that, then you change the inbound and outbound rules. Okay. Okay, so let's see. This is the my test 01 auto scaling, right? And this is on the VPC we just provisioned. Okay. Okay, so now everything looks good. We allow traffic, right? Okay, all traffic. So we create security group. You can always change, right? So if you sometimes you need to modify your security group, right? Then it will be applied, right? After you save your changes. Okay. So let's allow the description. So we say here all traffic. Okay, allow all traffic. Okay, so that's to give us some information here. Okay. So we see here that we have our MyTest 01 auto scaling GL, and we have our for this VPC, right? Allow all traffic description, right? And then we have our inbound rule, and then we have our outbound rules. Okay, so and then you can do same. I mean, you can do another one like what I show you the other example with inbound rule just for SSH and then the HTTP, right? HTTP. Okay. Okay, so now we have our security group set up. Okay, now we're going to go to our EC2, right? EC2. We're going to create our template, right? Launch templates. Okay, so we do have one template here. That's my test launch GL. And we're going to create another. Okay, so if we look at, okay, let's see here. Okay, so then we'll see my test 01, right? Auto scaling, yeah, okay. So this is my test 01 auto scaling GL, okay, and that's the name. So then version description auto scaling guide, yeah. So you can provide guidance to help me, right? Set up template I can use with this tool, auto scaling, right? So then you can set up this option here. And then the rest of this is very similar, pretty much the same, right? As we set up the EC2, the in earlier example, right? We have to first decide our AMI, Amazon Machine Image, and then we're going to select our instance type and then key pair and so on, right? Okay, so here, let's go with our Linux 2 AMI here, and then, okay, the instance type, let's go with the free tier, right? T2 micro here, and that's what we used earlier, right? And key pair, remember that I have this, I'll use this one, right? EC2 key pair. So you have your key pair from earlier assignments or early examples, you can still use that one, okay? So network setting, right? Okay, so then so we don't need to set up this. We'll set up our security group in the later part. Okay, so these are our storage. Okay, resource tag, network interface here. So we add a network interface here. Okay, so for here, right, we will set up the security group. Okay, the security group. Now remember we set up our my test 01, right? That's our security group. So let's look for that one. Okay, see here. That's we have the my test 01 auto scaling GL. Okay, this is where we have our security group for this instance, right? Okay, and then we have make sure that we auto assign the public ID. Okay, because we want to we want to access our EC2 instance, right, using PuTTY, right? So then we go to enable. Okay. Okay, so now we have our security group selected. That is one. Then we enable the public IP, public IP. Okay, okay. So let's look at the advanced detail. Right, these are some actual features there. If we need to, if we don't need to, we can close it. Okay. So then that's it. Create a launch template. So then we will decide this which VPC we're gonna use, right? And then what machine image we're going to use, and the instance type, right, key pair, and then enable the auto assigned public IP. Okay, public IP. Okay, okay. So let's see here, create the launch template. Okay, so that's our launch template. Okay, so we got it, right? Okay, then we go to EC2. Now we're going to at the bottom, we'll see auto scaling groups. Okay, so we click this one. We're going to create this auto scaling. So we have this one. This is one example, right? Now in here we see that we create a one test auto scaling, and then the instance 2, right? Desired capacity 2, minimum is 2, maximum goal is 4, right? This is the one that we have, right? We're going to create another one. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, we see my test 01 auto scaling. Okay, and then what launch type are we going to use? So then if we're going to scale up and scale down, so then if we need to launch an instance, we need to know what kind of instance we're going to launch, right? And then in our early example, we just need one, so we launch one, right? We need two, but now we do the auto scaling. So whenever we need to do one, it will just follow this template, okay? So now let's see here, we have two templates available, and then let's see, we just use the one we created for this, right? My test 01 auto scaling GL, okay? And then this was selected. So now we go to next. Okay, so then you have the instance purchase option, right? We're not doing anything about that. For network, this is for our VPC test auto scaling, right? This is what we just provision, okay? And then the subnet here, right? So there's two subnets, right? One is private, one is public. So let's select the public subnet, right? Okay, so then we select the one public subnet. Okay, okay. Then we go to next. Okay, so now we have the load balancing. Okay, if we want to set up the load balancer, we can set it up. Okay, right now let's say just we leave it as no load balancer. Okay, so we can do the health check. Okay, every 300 seconds, and then additional setting. Let's leave this as it is. Next here. Okay, so then now here is the group size. Right, so the desired capacity is 2. Right, minimum we want the 2. Okay, and maximum we want to be 4. Right, so if the CPU is really busy or some other criteria we have, right? So we want to be like scale this up, right? And then scaling policies, right? So this one we want to say, okay, target scaling policy here, right? Okay, let's see policy 01, okay. Scaling target traffic name is the policy 01, okay. And then we'll use average CPU utilization or average network or so on, right? Remember we talk about either we use the EC2, right, or the network or the based on the application, right? So we're using the CPU utilization, okay. So here, let's say we want to do like a target 60, right, percent of CPU utilization, okay. Instant need how many seconds warm up before including matrix? So let's see here, we put the default 300 seconds, okay. Okay. Okay, so then let's leave everything else the same, then go to next, okay. We can add notification, like add notification, it will, whenever there are some changes, it will be updated and then send information. Let's skip this and then we just go next. Okay, so then next. Okay, this is the one we're going to use, right? We have auto scaling group name. This is my test 01. And then we have my test 01. This is the launch template, right? And then we have the configure setting, the network or the VPC we're using, the subnet, right? And then other specifications, right? So here we have the group size with desired is 2. Minimum is 2, and then the maximum is 4, right? We have the scaling policy and this is required to maintain average CPU utilization at 60%, right? Okay, and then so then basically we can create our auto scaling group. Okay, so then we can go to our EC2 dashboard here. Okay, then now we see that earlier we didn't have any instance running, but now we have 2 instances running, and both instances actually using the template we created, right? So that is basically what kind of instance we're going to launch. And then we say that we need to have 2 right running. So then we click this, yeah. So now we see those stopped ones or terminated ones, right? Okay. Okay, now this is okay. These are the 2. These 2 are the ones that we just launched. Okay. And these 2 belong. This one belongs to, let's see, this one's running, right? Okay, but this one belongs to, let's see here. Where's a VPC here? Okay, so this is VPC auto scaling, right? VPC auto scaling. That's belong to another VPC. Okay. Okay. So then let's go back here, and then we see that. Okay. So let's see here. These are 2. These 2 072 and 047. These are 2 just now just launched. Okay. So we can see that these 2 belongs to the. Let's see here the VPC test auto scaling, right? So this is the one that is on our VPC test network, okay. Okay, so now we have these 2 running, right? We have these 2 running, okay. Then we go to the instance type here, okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the PuTTY to log in to these 2 servers, okay. And then once we log in, we're going to stress the CPU. So we're going to use a command stress to make the CPU busy. And then we'll see that we'll have 2 more instances launched by the auto scaling. Okay. Now these 2 are belong to this 0C2 and 0F4. These belong to another VPC. Okay, another VPC. Okay. Okay. So we see here both of these are on 1D. And this one is on 1F and 1F, okay? Okay, so now let's see. We're going to this one here, okay? Now we need to have this public IP for this, okay? I'm going to put it here. So we go to a login session here, right? So we go to EC2-user at, okay, this is one of these. And then we use our SSH application. Okay, so then we got our the private key pair, right? Okay, now we go back to our session. Okay, then we open. Now we have one open. Okay, and then we do the same for the other one, right? For the other one. Okay, so we have another one here. Okay, then we copy the same thing here. Okay, then we new session. Then we do EC2. Then Control V. Okay, Control V copies this one. Okay, then we go to SSH. Okay, again we got our private key here. Go back to our session, and then we're going to open this. Okay, so now we have both of these EC2, right? We have on this log into these both servers, and we can see the IP address 10.0.0.168, 10.0.0.1.0.3. Okay, okay. So let's see here. Now we have these two EC2s where we're able to log in, and then if we look at our instance here, right? These are two EC2s we have. These are the two earlier ones, right? Two earlier ones. Okay, so we have EC2 status here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to stress the CPU. Okay, before we stress CPU, we need to install stress. Okay, then in order to install stress, okay, we first need to add this extra package for enterprise Linux. Okay, so use this command on both of the right click. Okay, Control C, copy, and then right click your mouse. You'll be able to copy this. Okay, now see yes or no is a yes. Okay, it will complete the installation. Okay, and then we'll do sudo. Okay, so here we do sudo. Okay, we install the stress here. Sudo is basically using the root. Okay, okay, now we complete. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the other one. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, so now we have both install stress. Okay, now we're going to use this command stress the CPU. Okay, for max out 2 CPU cores for 600 seconds. Okay, so then we use this one. Okay, we use this one. Okay, okay, so we start this, right? Now let's look at our EC2 here. Okay, so right now we have two instances, right? Two instances. Okay, so then I see when the CPU regional is maxed out, then it's going to. Okay, now we see that we have one instance. We have three instances now, right? Okay, now we see that we have three in service. Okay, three in service. It took a while, so be patient. Okay, we have three. Okay, now we see the status is updating capacity, right? So then now this is updating, right? And look at here. We have one pending. So then we adding the auto scaling is adding another one, right? You look at the auto scaling group, right? And then you see that it's instance, right? Then the updating capacity, and then we look at the EC2 instance. Then we see that we already have three running, and then one is pending, right? Okay, just be patient and wait a little bit. Okay, now we have four instances, right? Four instances, okay? So then these all four running here. I see the instance running, right? You can see the okay, then it passed, right? The checks passed, okay? So then there's a 4 running there, right? 4 running there, okay? Okay, now we see here, we try to stress the CPU. Now this is over, right? Because it's only for 600 seconds. Now this is over, right? Okay, then we look at the other one, and the other one is also over. Okay, so that means the CPU is not that busy anymore, right? And then let's look at what happened here. Now we're showing 3 instances. Right now we only have 3 running, and this one is terminated, right? Over. So now we are back into the 2 instance. Okay, so this scale up and scale down took a while. Okay, it took a while. So you can you can follow this and then check this out, and then it will show you go up to 4 instance and then come back to 2. It takes some time. Okay,